Hi, everyone. Welcome to another inspiring episode of our live interview series. Today, we're honored to be joined by the incredible Zahra Maharaj, director of VeerZahra Productions, radio personality, producer, and passionate advocate for South African talent. From powerful storytelling and international representation to impactful community work, Zahra's journey is one of creativity, resilience, and purpose. Get ready for a conversation filled with insight, inspiration, and real industry wisdom. Let's dive in. How are you, Zara?
Good, thanks, and yourself, Siddharth. Thank you so much for having me.
You're most welcome. It's actually
Just,
been
just,
my
just mind the
sorry.
dogs behind me, right? I mean, around me.
Ah,
You can hear
no,
them.
no worries. I've actually had interviewees also having dogs in the background. It just shows that you love animals, which is kind of refreshing.
I do. I'm an animal lover by sure, by far.
Awesome. All right. To get the ball rolling, Zara, you've worn many hats throughout your career. Could you share a bit about your journey and what has shaped you into the creative force you are today?
So, I think when we wear hats over and over, I think it's something that we earn, right? But I honestly don't think that we're doing it to wear the cap. If you get what I'm saying,
Yeah.
I think we do it wholeheartedly. We apply ourselves 100% to whatever we do, and obviously the rewards in the end and acknowledgement in the end is truly appreciated, which really means that we've been doing something good, right?
Mm.
So yeah, there has been many, influential awards. I've received one very recent, and that was a legacy award. This, I actually now I've come to a stage where I'm like, I don't want anymore. I don't mind the acknowledgement. It takes a lot of time, just to go to the ceremony, to receive it and stuff. But I think for me, focusing more on what I do, focusing on South African artists, I think that's my forte. You know that I've started with the movie industry, and it's been going like so well. I think for me, enjoying the writing of the scripts, being the director, casting good talent in South Africa. But unfortunately, sometimes some things just don't work out. And I think for me, it didn't dampen my spirit. I think for me, it was basically saying that, you know what, it was just not the perfect time. And however, I didn't, just let it sit down. I got up from that. I moved on. I moved on doing other things. And I think being involved with South African industry, whether it's movies, whether it's music, whether it's radio, whether it's just vocals, whether it's been part of events, for that matter. I think I pushed very, very hard, and yeah, that's why I am where I am. I just never, let something, just dampen my spirit and stay there. I just got up and I just moved on, and I think that's a spirit everybody should have. I don't think that if something doesn't work, you should just take a back seat and let it go. As much as I am saying I am waiting for the perfect timing, maybe to do my movies again, that's okay. Whenever it happens, and we never know when the perfect timing is, right? But just don't waste time. That's what I'm saying. And I think
Uh,
over the years, I've sacrificed a lot of time. I've sacrificed a lot of time for South African artists. And again, now I'm saying South African artists, it could be vocals, it could be music, it could be dance. I think we have a very rich art and culture, industry in South Africa. But I just think sometimes it's very competing. I think sometimes people just want to take it to another level of earning
yeah.
income towards the talent. And listen, I don't have a problem with it. It's okay if people are charging and if they take it as a business. That has got absolutely nothing to do with me. I think with me, it's just that I need to continue promoting, motivating, and inspiring.
Yeah, that's really awesome of you. And there's actually a question relating to the whole industry here. Okay, this is from Jitin Rishika. Hi, Zara. How did it feel being on camera the first time? What inspired you into acting? Wishing you all the best in your future endeavors.
Thank you so much. Much love and blessings to you. Well, I think the first time is always nerve wracking, right? But I also think that, if it's your passion, you want to go and give it your best. So, though the nerves are there, I can promise you I've had some very prominent people, opposite me. And I'm going to mention his name very freely. He was
Mm,
Kenzo Mtetra from the Dingalings. And I think
okay.
he's very grown in the industry. He's not an amateur. I think for me, I take him to be a professional. Being opposite him was truly inspiring, truly motivating, and most importantly, I think he supported me on set, off set. So it's always very important who you work, aside with, who you work with. That's very important. So nice question. Thank you so much.
Awesome. You mentioned about SA talent. So to get my question to you around that is, what does SA talent mean to you, and how do you think the industry has evolved in terms of supporting local artists?
Okay, predominantly, I would say South African talent. And again, I'm talking about music, I'm talking about art, I'm talking about culture, I'm talking about the movie industry. It could be theater, whatever, as long as it belongs to South Africa. I think, for me, if somebody shows a little bit that, they can do something, I just always want to get into that gap and start promoting them better. And, Siddharth, I think you've used or you I wouldn't say used. I think you've had a lot of my Salma, entrance on your podcast that I've watched
Yeah.
before, like Himali. I've been speaking to Sudesh that was also at the awards recently, and he also mentioned that you contacted him, which is great. I think everybody needs a platform, whether it's your platform, whether it's my platform, because some of the artists, they are so talented, but they become very confined.
Mm,
They don't know which way to grow. They don't know which way to go. And, bringing them on the Salma, there were some artists that our South African people didn't hear of, didn't know of, right? And we brought this talent forward. And I think it was exceptional to have them. So motivating them, directing them in the right way. Now, directing doesn't only come with movies, and I've learned this along the way. Directing South African artists to the right platform, maybe to the right guys that would do recordings for an example. Some people would have a great voice, but they don't know which way to go. Um,
mm.
and this all was enhanced when I was on radio for a year and more, couple months. I think I used that platform to get to my artists and to really grow them. And I think, it was just so amazing, so successful, to be honest.
Yeah, I actually appreciate what you're doing, and yeah, you have been a helping force in me having those artists, so thanks for that.
Yeah, but I think also see that, in saying all of that, you're going to have a passion for it, right? I think
Of
from a
course.
little girl, I've had this passion. My parents always took me to Mondays. We were always involved in plays. There were many plays where I was, played the role of Sita, Mother Sita. But I was very little then. And just being on stage, I think, you know, uh, I think I grew with all of that. I enjoyed it from a young girl. And then now, even though maybe I'm not on the scenes of the movies, and like I'm saying, it will happen in time, but just being
Mm,
part of artists, just being part of cultural events. Very soon, it's the Easter Festival that I'm going to be part of, and I'm busy working with that, coordinating with that. And then comes the Phoenix Fair, which is massive here in Durban. Everybody knows. Got to highlight on something. Phoenix turns 50 this year. We're looking forward to celebrating that. And I think we've got like a 6-month program to just celebrate that itself.
wow.
And I'm one of those that's going to be celebrating 50 this year. Yeah, Siddharth, I've reached that age of 50 now. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Recently, I've had, we something with the Indian consulate, which is also very imperative to mention. I would love the audience to know about this. I would love them to come out in the numbers. It is the Indian film festival that we're having here in Durban. I'm not going to say too much as to who's going to be here, but definitely we're going to have people from overseas that's going to be joining us for that. That's going to be a 3-day festival being held at Suncoast. And
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll touch base with you and probably let you know of the registration form. People
Okay.
can register. People can come out in the numbers. It's happening on the 26th, 27th, 28th of March at Suncoast. And, talking about arts and culture, there's a movie, Mrs. Chatterjee. I'm sure you've heard about it. It's a real
Mm,
life story. And
mm.
yeah, we're going to be having it in Zulu, eh? So,
Wow.
there's so much to be given to our South Africans, but we just want them to come out. We want them to come and watch. We want them to support. We want them to support other artists. And only with support, I think people can grow. Don't you agree?
100%. In fact, I was thinking that we could have a teaser type of chat around that event closer to the time if you're open to that.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be hectic. But if I can give you a few minutes, if I can
Sure.
afford you that, why not?
Yeah.
But I would love people to, stay in touch base, find out about the registration forms. It's obviously in the handles of the Indian Consulate of Durban. Their social handles, Instagram, the Facebook, and stuff like that. And it's not released as yet, but hopefully maybe by this week. And I'm sure many people are going to register just to come out in the numbers. It's going to be workshops, it's going to be programs, it's going to be competitions. Um, I would love, Siddharth, when I started my journey at the movie industry, and when I was doing, auditions, I've never known some people, I've never met some people, but when I did eventually meet them and have the auditions, I've realized that people have so much of talent within, and
Mm.
then there was never a platform for them to come out and be themselves. And I would love to, have them on the platforms, let them come out in the numbers, let them show us what their hidden talents are. Unfortunately, I think in our world of growing up, our parents just wanted us to, qualify, get our degrees,
Mm.
and work, and
Yeah.
it's somewhat subsided with our talents. Our talents just went on one side.
Mm.
But I think consecutively, if you can work, you're working. That's good. That's great. Working, getting an income, living life, but not forgetting your talent, which is very important. I think a talent need to be nurtured, need to be taken care of, and yeah, yet again, it's just not myself that I have. That's promoting talent. There's a lot of people there. People just need to come out, speak, and we can help them grow. That's I'm saying I'm turning 50 this year. I don't think I'm doing it for like many years, being on the stage, or being in the movie industry. But yes, I might continue promoting, directing, and doing all of that. But I'd like to see fresh blood. I'd like to see young talent, and that's what we're looking for.
Awesome. Uh, you've become an influential figure in both radio and production. How do you manage balancing such a diverse career while staying grounded?
Uh, I think with anything in life, wherever you grow, how successful you are, you always need to be grounded, and you need to be grounded not just uh, for the community at large, but for yourself. Because the moment you want to take things to your head, and you feel that you become too bigger than any brand or any industry, I think that's where you crumble. That's when the cookie crumbles. So you got to stay grounded. You've got to keep your feet on the ground. But also, together with everything, when these awards, when the influential acknowledgements come, you acknowledge them, you appreciate them, right? But you still got to be yourself. You have to, and I think that's where the balance comes in. You balance yourself with saying, okay, I've achieved this, I've achieved that, but I still need to be grounded to continue the growth.
Awesome. As someone involved with numerous NPOs, what drives you to invest time and energy into such projects? How do you balance that with your professional work?
Well, I think it's all about sacrifice once again. It's all about passion. Sometimes I sleep very late because I'm busy, jumping between things. Like yesterday, I've had the meetings with obviously a Phoenix Child Welfare, then the Sri Mariamman Temple, and it was a back-to-back meetings. And when I came home, it's just meetings. The thing is with meetings is that you got to follow on. And then I've realized when you sent me a reminder that I've got this to do, so I had to, juggle, shuffle, and adjust myself, just to get everybody happy, just to fill the spaces. but also not to fail what I'm doing, fail any entity. I want to give my best. And I think passion is a great thing. Remember, before we are anything, we humans, right?
Of course.
We got to live, we got to cook, we've got to
Mhm.
eat, we've got a home to take care of. Sometimes the home gets neglected, and I've got to be honest. But yeah, we keep it going, eh? Even if I'm just like, having a slice of bread, to be honest, and just a cup of tea. But I'm really pushing very, very hard. And I think with everything in life, you can't just lay back and expect things to happen. You can't lay back and expect things to unfold. You have to apply yourself. You have to push yourself. You go beyond limits. And yeah, but I enjoy that adrenaline rush. Truly enjoy it.
That's really inspiring. Actually, to get to your radio side, your journey in radio is truly inspiring. Can you share some of the defining moments in your radio career that have had the most impact on you?
Such a lovely question, really, such a beautiful question. I think when I've joined radio, it was never about me. It was never about me. I think I was just, making the brand bigger, better, growing the brand, but at the same time connecting my local artists. So I did the Let's Go Local show, right? And I'm very much into local, very, very much into local. And I think I kind of, brought people in studio. I did the interviews. I've had live sessions on radio. I've met people that, I've connected with people. And I think that was so phenomenal for me. There's like, asking me about one. There's so many moments that I had, I could celebrate, but just not celebrate myself. I mean, celebrating the people that were with me, those kind of things. Yeah.
Awesome. Having represented South Africa at high-profile international platforms, including the President's House in India, how do you feel these experiences have shaped your view of the global entertainment landscape?
That was a huge one. Going to India, that came by surprise. That really came by surprise.
Okay.
But remember, we were delegates. There were 21 delegates from around the globe, right? And of course, I was one from South Africa.
Mhm.
I think coming back with what happened in India was very imperative for me. A lot of people came to me. They wanted to know about the tour. They wanted to know about the journey. Remember, we've met people, like I'm saying, from across the globe. We've learned so much that we didn't know, and I'm talking about other countries, about other culture, about the diversity with everything. Uh, that was really, really great, like really great. I think for the rest of my life, I would keep that experience. I would always choose to talk about that experience. It was so enlightening. It was so educating. The cultural, the diversity of everything. It was just phenomenal. And I wouldn't mind, even now it's a year that has passed. I mean, time has passed so quickly. It's a year has passed, but I can still share the journey like it happened yesterday.
Wow.
So I hold it
Regarding,
very close. I hold it very close to
oh,
heart.
okay. I'm just trying to say, like, for the viewers, do you mind, like, telling the viewers which president of India it was?
Which?
Which president of India it was? Because India has had a number of presidents, so I'm just trying to, like, just for the viewers' interest, which president it was of India at that
Okay,
time.
Mrs. Murmu. Mrs. Murmu, obviously. Narendra
Oh,
Modi was there at Pravasi Bhatya
okay,
Divas. Um,
okay.
and I think when he spoke to us, that was very moving. It was absolutely moving. But also remember, when you're part of this, the delicate stuff, it's very fragile. They were when we went to President's house. Obviously, we were not allowed our phones. We couldn't, and
Oh,
we had to respect that, right? But obviously,
hmm.
for security reasons. And talking about the India trip, we were very protected. We were always,
Oh,
bodyguarded. We were always even when we went to the Maha Kumbh Mela, I think there's millions of people that come to that. And we were so protected. People ask, like, how did you manage it? I think Mr. Modi himself had it very well organized, with the Ministry of External Affairs in India. They had it very well organized when it came to us, Um, even when we were in the buses, we were very protected. We were always having, the police in front of us, back of us. Um, and that was good. But I can tell you something that I really didn't enjoy that part of it. I understood that it was security. I understood Narendra Modi didn't want us to come back to South Africa or any other, delegates going back home and saying, said anything bad about India itself. So, in that, I think it was truly excelled. But I also think I felt that I needed to be a little bit loose because I'm a person that wants to talk. I'm a person
Mhm.
that's very exploring.
Mhm.
I wish I had a little bit of the freedom to do that. But yeah, of course, after the Pravasi Bhartiya Divas, we had we went to I would say it was a little intimate event where we could explore other things of India. We've had people that way we could speak to, but that was it. We were not, we couldn't have any more of it. Yeah.
Awesome. You had the rare opportunity to experience the Maha Kumbh. How did that transformative event impact you both personally and professionally? What lessons or insights did you take away from it?
I think personally, it's a very emotional. It was very emotional for me. I think I cried a lot.
Oh, okay.
Uh, Unfortunately, a lot of the delegates didn't understand what the Maha Kumbh Mela was about. I am a Shiv bhakt, I love Shivji the most, right? Like I always would tell my mom, I'm God's child, I'm not her child. And I know it sounds not so nice, but my connection with Shivji is very, very deep. Going there, meeting the Agoris. I'm not sure if your audience would even understand that, but maybe we can touch up on another session, regarding that. I would
Sure.
love to share that. I would also love to share the fact about the Nagara dances that people look. Some I would say this very openly. I think some people look down at Nagara dances here in South Africa, but there's such a deep meaning behind them. And I hope you can touch base, on this some other time on another session. I would love to elaborate on that. I would love to educate people on that. Meeting the Goris, when I came back to South Africa, um, I asked the elders in my family, and surprisingly, they didn't know. They didn't know what the Goris were, and I had to tell them. But meeting them, connecting with them, we were not allowed to do that, by the way, Siddharth. Let me tell you, we were not allowed to get close to them. We were not allowed to take out pictures, or if we were allowed to take pictures, we were told that they must not know we are taking pictures of them or videos of
Oh,
them, right? And but however, can I tell you this? I'm going to share something with you. There were two of them that called me, and even the delegates, not the delegates, the members of the Ministry of External Affairs on that side, and the people that were protecting us, our bodyguards, they were like very surprised. They were truly surprised. They couldn't believe that they have called me, and that was a very moving experience. Again, I choose to talk about elaborate on that on another session. And then there were a few of the delegates that were like, they want to come join me, when I went to the second one. The Goris, just to let your audience know and let you know, the Goris are the ones that do not wear clothes, right? They um they are on another level of plane of life. They don't wear clothes. They're covered in ashes. Um, yeah, they just give themselves to Lordship. So I will definitely touch on that on another session, like I'm saying. But
oh,
going into the water of the Maha Kumbh Mela, that was very moving for me. Absolutely moving. It was winter, by the way, because we were there in January, and that's winter in India. Uh, so the first time that I went in, and I have a phobia for water,
oh,
extreme phobia for water, right? But I went in, and I think I got myself ready for that before I went, and it was only 2 days before that I knew I was going to India. So I tried to settle. My tent when I stayed at the Maha Kumbh was right next to Mother Ganga. That's where I slept. Okay, and I can tell you I barely slept because I couldn't believe all of this was happening. To me, going in the water, it was absolutely cold. Uh, Given the fact that it's winter.
mm,
But normally people would say, even here, if you go into the pool the first time, it's cold, and then the second time, you adjust to the water. But at the Mahakum, I think that was not the case where we adjusted to the water. We went in, it was freezing. So we were taking the dips, and I said to myself, I was going to do 5, 7, or 11, dips in the water. And obviously chant the Om Namah Shiva. The second time I went, it was like There were heat waves in the water. And that was an experience. It was, I don't know, it goes beyond, where you can even sit and explain to somebody. It was an experience that I think one has to experience. So saying it, you guys probably
Mm.
will try to understand, but it was phenomenal. I came out, I cried. Before I went in, I cried. I couldn't believe it was happening. When we came out, so obviously we were in the papers of all the India, they covered us. India covered us, being in
Okay.
India. Um, Obviously, the articles are in Hindi, and I have them that I can share with you. So if your listeners can read Hindi, they can read those articles as well. We've had the TV channels on us, they never gave us a break. Um, but it was good because I think it's what they wanted. It was all about the diaspora, right? And yeah, that was phenomenal. And then also, we went to Vrindavan. We went to Prem
Mhm.
Mandir. So that's a temple that changes colors, right? Uh, that as well was a very moving experience. And I cried all the time. The delegates told me the next day they wanted to pacify me, they wanted to come to ask me if I'm okay. And then they realized, no, just leave me. Maybe I was just having my moment. But even if you had to ask me now why I cried, I don't know. It was just emotions. Emotions
Of
in
course.
years. Um, if you're talking about my movie industry, and then it didn't surpass as to the way I wanted. It didn't work the way I wanted. But obviously, it hurts me because I'm human at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
And I think when
Yeah.
I've experienced those things, it made me realize that nothing matters more than you. Nothing matters more. You need to take care of yourself. And so it was some emotions that I cannot explain, but I enjoyed it. I
Yeah.
wouldn't talk about the Taj Mahal, though we've been there, because I think that is something everybody watches. People go to India, they
Yeah.
would always visit the Taj Mahal and stuff.
Mm.
And I would always prefer to talk about the things that's different that people didn't experience. And coming back to the Maha Kumbh, remember, that happens after every 144 years, right? I'm obviously not
Wow.
going to see another Maha Kumbh. So yeah, the melas do happen like I think every second year and stuff like that. But the Maha Kumbh was 140 years, 44. So it was a big one. It was a massive one. We've missed our flight after that as well. So yeah, but let's do a session sometime soon where we'll just talk about that trip and educate our people what it was all about.
Awesome. Yeah, that
I
would be
think
an
here,
honor.
yeah, I think here in South Africa, our media did cover it. The Rising Sun, the Tribune,
Okay.
the media did cover it, but they just cover articles. But it's not something where we're really explaining how we truly felt. And I would love to share that experience, with everybody.
Sure. Sure. In your experience, what do you think South African entertainment can do to better position itself globally, particularly in radio and film?
What do you think they should do?
Hmm. Can do
Is that your
to
question?
yeah, in your experience, what do you think South African entertainment can do to better position itself globally, particularly in radio and film?
But I think for starters, you got to be true to yourself. You have to be
Mm.
true to yourself. Don't try to become bigger than anything very quick and fast. Yes, you can be successful, you can grow. Uh, just remain humble. That's very important to be, to remain humble. And I think, you had something with Mershan Ramalu a couple months ago. I've
Yeah.
watched that, and I also saw where he spoke about being humble. You know, I think with anything, Siddharth, if you want to grow, you need to be humble. Listen, I've experienced so much in my life. I've experienced good and bad. I've experienced betrayal in the industry. I've experienced the great stuff in the industry. And to tell you the truth, I've embraced both. I truly embrace both because I think the the bad ones make you better. Okay,
Mm.
the good ones humble you. The good ones humble you in the sense of saying, I can achieve more.
Mm.
And the bad side of that, it's very important to embrace good and bad. Uh, don't always talk about the good. Talk
Mm.
about the bad because it reminds you that you can get better. It grooms you, it nurtures you to become better and do better. I think going, like when we started, I said there's so much of talent here in South Africa, and I think everybody can do it. Everybody is capable of doing it. But the important thing is having the right platform, right? You've got to have the right platform. Um, and if you don't have the right platform,
Yeah.
create the platform. I've created my platform. Create your platform. Be courageous, be bold, be strong, go out. If you fall, get up, move, and it's going to happen. Like I'm saying, so I think our intention, our bigger intention is connecting India and South Africa,
Mm.
create, that bridge. Because remember, a lot of what happens in South Africa came from India. Okay,
Yeah.
and that is very deep. That is very, very deep.
Mm.
We go back in time to like the way they came to South Africa and all of that. Another subject for another day, obviously. But I
Oh.
think right now, we're having this Indian Film Festival. Uh, I did mention something, and I think I've shared the video with everybody as well. This was
Mm.
on Friday. We've had this. I posed a question saying, it's
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
good having the concept here in South Africa is good, but I now want to get our South African artists involved. And by that, I mean musicians, specifically our musicians and our singers. That's what I need to do, right? We need to take them on that level. Okay. Siddharth, there were many times in South Africa, it's ongoing. We're always having people from India coming here, whether it's the Indian idols, whether it's the little kiddies that come here and, do all of that. And now my question is, what about us here in South Africa? We have that talent in South Africa as well. When are we taking this talent to India? When are we showing India what South Africa is made of? Why aren't we promoted? It's because India can promote it very well. Is South Africa lacking? Are we not having the funds? We don't have the platform. We don't have the backbone to support this. Why? And that's what I'm pushing very hard. I want our artists to be out there, and the day I do that is the day I'll say to myself, okay, yeah, now I have made the difference. I think for the journey of being part of everything, I think I'm only trying. And but when I do that, then I would say, yeah, I have accomplished something. But
Awesome.
obviously, I already proposed that, right? I proposed it to the Indian consulate already.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So
saw that. Yeah.
yeah, let's just see how it unfolds. I would like, even though these two functions are coming in April and in May and June, I'm trying to engage artists to come on board. I'm trying to bring them in the forefront. I'm trying for people to learn of them, know more of them. It's not about just coming, being an artist, playing music, and going home. I think people are
Mm.
very used to that. In South Africa, we call it a contract. You have a contract for a harbi, you have a contract for a katha or a wedding, right? They say they have a contract. I want it to be more than a contract. I want it to
Oh.
be more than a paid gig, you know. Uh, and I hope my South Africans artists can understand me from that perspective. I want them to see more than just coming for the contract, playing for the contract. I want it to be more than that. And once my our South African artists understand the concept, I think we're going to go globally. Definitely, we would.
What role do you think storytelling plays in your work, especially when it comes to both your radio career and your production projects?
Storytelling. Would you repeat that again? I didn't hear that.
Sure. What role do you think storytelling plays in your work, especially when it comes to both your radio career and your production project?
Storytelling is huge. Storytelling is when it, when it relates to the question you asked. Storytelling is not like opening a book and reading a book, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think let's talk radio first. Let's talk radio
Okay.
first, right? Now that I'm not on radio, I have many stories to tell. I think with um, every slot that I did, from the time I started to the time I concluded, I think every slot was a story tale. I could speak about it because it was different. I didn't go and I didn't do the same thing. I didn't repeat the same thing. Yes, I've changed artists. Um, Sadly, we lost a very prominent artist. Okay, we've lost two back to back. Last week, Sunday, was the funeral of Umita Kalyan. Okay, um, indeed left a legacy in the industry. This week Sunday, it was Molly, and she was the wife of Mr. Dan from Nagara Divana, right? So if you see that, I support all genres of music. Okay, now Nagara might not sit with a whole lot of people, and that's fine because different strokes for different folks, right? Uh, but I think with Molly, what highlights it is that she could sing to the instrument, the Nagara. You with me? When I
Hmm.
had the Women's Day program, a lot of my listeners thought that, okay, we're not going to listen to Nagara today because the females don't sing it. But let me tell you, I did play that, and that's a tale I would always want to share with everybody. I shared that. Talking about Umita Kalyan, she was so diverse in languages, in singing. She was so diverse. Unfortunately, I didn't get to have her on my radio. But then, I think with Amita, she built her name for herself in the years. There's quite a few prominent people, and I wouldn't say few, a lot of prominent artists that I do connect with, that I do stay in touch with, right? Uh, Everything is a story, Siddharth. It's just how you look into it. It's just how you have to explain it. It's just how you have to elaborate it. And then you said the radio, and the next one was?
Oh, and your production projects.
Okay, with the production project, okay. I love the fact that people are trying in South Africa. I love the fact there were
Mm.
many releases of local productions. I love that. But I'm somewhat very different. I like to grow out of the box. I like to keep it out of the box. I like real drama stories. Comedy is good. Comedy is very good, and I think a lot of us take to the comedy, right? But I
Mm.
think we somewhat need to grow out of that as well, because I think for me, and this is just my opinion, right? This is just my opinion. I think for me, I think sometimes that we Indians become like a laughing stock. We become like a mockery. It's just what we're doing and just what we want to share. And I thought that we as Indians now, pardon me, but this is not nothing. I'm not racist, right? But I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah,
saying, I'm talking predominantly for us. I think we need to grow out of it. I think we can do better. And I think that's what I've been trying to do. My scripts have nothing to do with comedy. My
yeah,
scripts
yeah.
were something that was going to hit home for everybody. My scripts are something that was going to teach people. And maybe after this podcast, maybe somebody can come to say, Zara, let's work on this. Let's hope so. Let's cross fingers that it works that way. So I'm just hoping that it works. Um, I write so differently. I script so differently. Um, I look at matters of the heart. I look at how people feel. I look at, how some people what cheating, for an example, inverted commas, can do to a person, what it can do to a person. Yeah, but kudos to all my other buddies in the industry that, launched movies, but it was comedy. I think for me, it was more the talent that came out. I think more the perseverance. They pushed hard. It's not easy to do a movie, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, so I'm enjoying our industry, to be very honest with you. I'm really enjoying it. I'm loving what they bring to the table. I'm loving what they're showing to the world. I'm not going to mention names, but I think some of
Of
our projects went globally, and we're super proud of it, right?
course. That's really beautiful. Finally, as someone with such an extensive career, what advice would you give to up-and-coming producers, writers, and radio personalities looking to follow in your footsteps?
Good question. Again, I think never stop. I said this in the beginning. Don't ever stop. And even if something doesn't work the first time, the second time, the third time, you still don't stop, right? You keep pushing. You ask for assistance. You look for people that can help you. You look for people that can stand with you. Uh, and something else with that, critics is very important. It's more important than compliments, to be very honest. It is the two C's, but I think critics make you a better person. You need to receive critics very positively, but just keep growing. If something doesn't work, I mean, here I am an example. There's so many things for me in my life that didn't work. I'm surprised that you're only talking about the accolades. Maybe next time we can talk about my failures. I would love to share that.
Okay. Oh,
and
no
how I've
problem.
grown from my failures. I've grown from so many failures. I'm only human. I've made numerous mistakes. But here's the thing about acknowledging that I made mistakes is that I've never stayed with my mistakes. I've acknowledged my mistakes. I've moved on from my mistakes. I've tried not to repeat my mistakes. And that is so important, you know. You have to reflect on yourself. You know, before you want to do anything, find you, find who you want to be, find who you want to share, and then you start sharing. It's not about sharing you as a person, it's sharing your mind, it's sharing your feelings, it's sharing your thoughts, and that's very, very important. It's like when you're in a relationship, right? When you're in your relationship, you want to give your best, but every relationship is not so rosy. Everybody have the ups and downs. Everybody have the curveballs. The important thing is not to give up. The important thing is about fixing it. The important thing is about talking about it and work around it and make it work. Now, you would not want to be in that relationship if you knew everything is going to be sour, right? The fact that you came into this relationship, and I'm saying relationship because I'm talking about something that's very, I think, um, very mild, but also very imperative in society, right? And we can talk about a relationship, we can talk about a project, we can talk about radio, we can talk about movie, we can talk about music. There's so many things. I'm just hypothetically talking about a relationship. And I think even
Oh, yeah.
like with music, it becomes your baby, it becomes a relationship, you know? So you give your best, you work around the curveballs, you just don't say, okay, here's a problem and I'm leaving and I'm not doing this and I'm not. No, you need to apply your mind. You need to know why you were there. You need to work on you. You need to work on your thoughts. You need to work on your thought process just to get better. And it doesn't get better overnight. It doesn't get better with the click of your fingers. You've got to apply, you've got to be dedicated to anything, right? To make it better.
Yeah, that's so true, hey? All I've got to say is thanks so much for your time, Zara, and I hope to catch up with you once again in the future.
Been a pleasure. I hope I've given you a good enlightenment of the questions that you asked. I hope I've been like
Yeah,
on
yeah,
point to
definitely.
answer. And I think
Of
maybe
course.
sometimes I've just went overboard answering it. But you know, this is what it is all about. I think sharing an experience cannot happen over one session. And I invite you to,
Of course.
let's have other sessions. But what's going to
Definitely.
be very imperative for me is having a session just to talk about the Maha Kumbh Mela. I would love you to do that. And I'll prep
Of
myself
course.
to talk about the glories. The Nagara dances is something that I really want to talk about, really want to educate people. People
Of
need to
course.
start respecting others. And yeah, but we'll catch up soon. Thank you so much for this, Siddharth. All the best. Go on doing what you're doing. I know there's a lot of people that, that was from my Salma, I would say that, and from my industry that you've connected with. I'm super proud. Just go on. I think Jay Naidu has been doing the same thing. He's been following my suit, and getting the people. And I think I'm super proud that I have created this for guys like you to follow on our artists and just go on promoting and inspiring, man. That's what life is all about, right?
Yeah. Take care.
But well done to you. Take care to that. And bye bye to everybody as well. Cheers.